Hello, Huskies, and welcome back to another episode of our Talk a Latte podcast. I am Jamie once again. Unfortunately, my co-host Christian is not here today, but in his place, I have four amazing international students that are currently attending Michigan Tech. And today we'll be talking about culture shock and what their experiences look like at Michigan Tech and in the Houghton area. So I will give all of our guest speakers a chance to introduce themselves. Natalia, if you want to start us off.
Yes, sure. My name is Natalia, and I am a second-year PhD student from Chemical Engineering Department, and I've been here for 2 years.
Hi, I'm Virani. I'm a graduate student in the Chemical Engineering Department, and I'm from Sri Lanka. I have been here at Michigan Tech for almost 2 years now.
Hi, my name is Abhijit. I'm from India. I've been in Michigan Tech for about 9-10 months, I guess. And I'm doing my master's in mechanical engineering. I like fries. I like French fries.
Yeah, hello, I am Ayush. I am a PhD student in mechanical engineering. I first came to Houghton in 2017, did my master's, went back and came back again for my PhD. So in total, I have been here for 8 years.
Awesome. So yeah, Ayush, since you are our reigning veteran of international students here and you've been here the longest, why don't you go ahead and introduce culture shock to us, what it means to you, and kind of get the conversation started there.
So culture shock, how I would define culture shock is basically it's the first semester or the first month when you are coming from your home country, and then the changes you feel in your daily routine or like day-to-day life, which you have not seen or observed, can be a culture shock, or like it could be physical, it could be mental, it could be like sometimes religious/spiritual. For example, like in India where I'm from, we do not drink water from taps. Mm-hmm. Here, the first thing when I arrived, I asked for water. They say there's a tap, just fill a glass and drink. So that was a shock to me. Mm-hmm. Also, like the latitude where we come from, for example, like nights fall in New Delhi around 8 maximum in summers. Here there was sunlight till 10 p.m. So that was also a shock.
Mm-hmm, definitely. Yeah, and like you mentioned too, like I know culture shock is different for everybody, but a lot of things that we will probably talk about here today are also just Houghton specific scenarios, because I feel like Houghton is a lot different compared to some of the other bigger cities in the United States. I was just at a work conference in San Diego last week, and coming back, I'm like, I missed my small town. I missed my happy, friendly people. I missed Walmart. And I never thought I would say that, but I'm like, I love where we are. So, but yeah, so this podcast will be a little different than last time, where it won't necessarily be more questions based. It'll just be kind of an open discussion. And we do have some specific topics that we will talk about. So I guess to start us off, I already kind of touched on it, but I guess we'll start off with just communication in general. And as we're incorporating these topics, maybe we can talk about what we see in bigger parts of the United States versus just Houghton in general and the UP. So Natalia, if you want to start with your experiences, and we can just share as it comes along.
Yeah, sure. I can tell like the huge difference for me between this place and whole United States was about a lot of sorry with everything. Like someone touch me, I'm sorry. Mm-hmm. Someone do something, and all the time people say sorry. And when I came back home for like 3 weeks, I all the time talk with my mom. I'm just like, I'm sorry, mom, I'm sorry. And she was like, please stop being so sorry every second of your life.
I am the same way. Like I think I gave you guys an example when we met, how I'll be saying something and they'll say something back, and I'll be like, oh, I'm sorry. And they'll be like, it's okay, but you can stop saying sorry. And I'm like, okay, sorry. And I'm like, wait, sorry, wait, stop. So exactly. I definitely relate to that.
Yeah, that happens a lot. You know, like even when I'm trying to talk in between someone, like when two people are having a conversation and I try to say something, I'm sorry, can I say this?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, can I do that? Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. What are some other differences that you guys have had in terms of communication and just the area in general? Anything with strangers communication in the public, anything like that?
Yeah, actually, I had to add to that because I found it's like sort of surprising and also interesting that the neighborhood, like the neighbors in the area, like treat us really like kindly and also very warmly. They're like, even we meet like in Walmart for the first time, they would just greet like they have known me for like forever.
Yeah.
I found it very surprising because in my country, I don't think in most of the places people don't do that, but they're very kind and also very warm in like accepting us. It's like it was sort of reassuring because we don't have that many people from my country around here.
Right.
So it sort of like helped me like feel this place like home.
Definitely.
Yeah, but I have another point of view because I'm from Russia. I didn't mention that. But when first time someone stopped by me and asked me, "How are you doing?" my reaction was like, "Why do you ask me about that? I don't know you. I saw you first time in my life. I don't want to share my thoughts or how I'm doing."
Yeah.
I was shocked. That was my cultural shock.
Yeah, no, definitely. And that's one of the points that I make in our orientations too is like, don't be alarmed if someone random that you don't know comes up to you. Like, chances are it's fine. But, because in other countries, it's like everyone is just go, like straight focused in on what they're doing. So
Also, like since we are in academia, for example, like we are students in college, so it was very strange to refer to your professors by their first name because some professors do that. It's such an informal setting, and most of the countries, for example, in India, it's very formal setting. So calling any professor by their first name is a big no. And here professors encourage that to communicate them, just like call them Bob or like Max or something like that, which was very shocking.
right.
I still could not call my professor
Yeah.
by her first name.
Same for me. Same
I
for me.
agree.
I found it very like
Yeah, and
I was
even
shocked at that.
and even the way when you talk with your friends, you can call like you, and you can call professors you. In my language, we have two different words for that. And for me, it was so tough. And first few months, I avoid that type of interaction with you. Like,
Oh, interesting.
Wait,
Yeah.
are you saying that you have I understand that there's a different word for you in
for
your
like
language,
for
but-
you, like when you talk with a person who are like older than you, who are like professor or something like that, that's the one type of you. But when you talk with your friends, that's another type of you, and this is two different words.
So it's kind of like a respect thing.
Yeah.
We have something similar in Hindi. Like
Yeah.
it's a you for the
Right.
counterparts and you for the elderly.
Yeah.
For as a respect.
Yeah,
Interesting.
in like college, we would either use sir or madam to talk to our professors. We will never talk them by the name.
Right, yeah. I've even noticed that too, like in my position in IPS, like people will email me and it's great. Like everyone is very respectful, but they'll be like, "Hello, ma'am." And I'll be like, "I'm only 27. Like I think of ma'am as like an older woman." And I'm like, "I'm not that old. Like don't call me ma'am."
But I want to say that these like small talks and this type of interaction between people here, I like how people open to tell you compliment for any part of your like hair, dress, I don't know, everything. They just like can stop by random and, "Oh, I love your dress." That was so beautiful. I love it so much from this place.
Yeah, for sure.
And on communication part, since we are communicating, have you ever faced, there was a very stark difference in how to enter a conversation or exit a conversation. Like entering a conversation, if you have like 4 or 5 friends are having, is relatively easy. But exiting it sometimes, like for example, like if I have to leave the conversation, but I have to be polite and courteous enough for everybody to stop so that I can exit, even if I'm getting late. But back in my country, it's just like you can leave and nobody would feel bad
Yeah.
because they
I-
know you have to go somewhere.
I actually saw a T-shirt about this. It said the "You per goodbye, it never ends."
Yeah, and that's another Midwest goodbye is like
Midwest
where
goodbye,
people
I'm
are
sorry,
like
yeah.
sitting there and they're like hands on the knees like, "Well, I guess it's time to head out now," and just like make a huge dramatic like exit. But yeah, I'm shocked in bigger cities too, like going to things, even like in meetings too. It's like people just up and leave, and I'm like, "Okay, bye."
How are we not saying bye for 1 hour?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
That's so
exactly.
weird.
You say bye and actually leave. What do you into another topic then? When we talked about the area in general, compared to your home country, what are some big differences that you see specifically? Like I know a lot of people talk about the different food culture here and timing with certain things, like going to classes or events. What are some of the biggest things that you guys have seen?
So the biggest things in food wise was there are two things. So where we are right now should not be a representative of whole US because it's such a remote place and it's a college town. We were expecting there should be much more restaurants and stuff to eat, but there are very less. And the timing of how late everything is open is such a shock. Like I still remember when I first landed here. After every thing to do with like international programs, getting IDs and everything, and jet lag, so I woke up around 8 p.m. and then I asked my friend, let's go out to eat something, and they said like only one place is open after 9. That's like Ambassadors or that would serve food, and I was like, well, that's sad. We have to have dinner around 6 p.m. I guess. So that was like a big thing, big difference. A shock to me.
Yeah, and definitely if you do go to that one place, it's going to be packed because it's the only place that's open in town.
Yeah,
They serve-
and for
they
me,
serve great pizza.
Yeah.
I can wait for that. Doesn't matter.
agree.
Yeah.
And for me, I want to tell about McDonald's. In my country, it's so much better. I'm sorry, but that's true. I think the worst McDonald's around the whole world in the United States. I don't know why.
I can't argue with you because when I went to England and got the same order, I was like, wow, this actually, it was a little bit more bland, but I like felt good eating it. Like I didn't feel like I was like going to be on the couch in bed the rest of the night.
Yeah.
Have you seen the portion sizes they serve here? Like that was another shock. There is what we call large is called like medium here, and they have something which is like a giant tumbler, which I don't even know. They call it large, but you can have like what's like 1 liter of stuff.
Yeah, like 1 or 2 liters of
Like
things.
it's like too much stuff, too much portions. I don't want that much
agree.
soda.
Have anyone of you been to that ice cream place called the Drive-Through Depot
Yes.
by Lake Linden?
Yep.
The first time I was there, I ordered a small ice cream. Small. The small ice cream was bigger than the large that I get in my country.
I agree because I went there and got a mini and I was like, this is like a medium. I'm like, especially because I go to Dairy Queen sometimes too, and their mini is actually like mini. I'm like, okay, this is enough. But yeah, I definitely agree with that one specifically.
But to be honest, I like this difference because all the time I ask to put this with me, take home, and I'm happy to have that.
You get 2 meals for one for
Yeah.
later. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, so another cultural thing, or maybe it might be, so tipping culture is a big thing, I guess, the US specific. We have gratuity and tips, but that's not the norm. We do tip, but if we want to, nobody is expecting us. Here, the first thing I went to a restaurant with Americans, that they taught me this thing. This is a tipping culture. Their salaries get taken out of your tips, so you have to tip. It's kind of like enforcing us, but I do not want to. No, you have to tip. So that was a big shock to me. Like, well, it's already so expensive, and then you have to tip also and do the maths.
Yep.
Yeah, and even when you just buy coffee to go, they ask you to tip, which is, I don't know.
Yeah, and it's so hard like paying with card too, because I know on like the iPads and stuff, it's like it pulls it up and it's like, would you like to tip? And I'm like, what am I ordering from them right now? Like, how much do I tip? What percent is this? And it's just, it's a definitely controversial topic though, even in the United States, like what the proper tip percentage is and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. So the tipping percentage, right? So how if I'm just getting takeout, how do I know if it's gonna be good or not?
Yeah, right.
I'm tipping 20%, 25%, whatever it is. And when I go home and have the food, it's not good. What do I do then?
Right. Yeah.
You should go back and ask your tips back.
So I have to ask everyone:
If you don't want to go back there.
is it okay to not tip if you are taking a subway? because you went there, you told how to make the sandwich, and then you paid, and then the ones who are making the sandwich, they are not on the tip. They are on a minimum wage, or like they are paid properly. So why do you tip if you go there, order, and then take the stuff?
Yeah.
So is it okay not to tip there
I know.
or not?
That's yeah, and there's no right answer. I feel like because you're making me think. I'm like, well, they're still providing service, which is what tips are all about, but they are getting the minimum wage rate. So it's like,
So
Yeah.
you're saying I should be getting tips for the research service I'm providing?
well, if you're a fully supported PhD student, you might be already. So
I
There's not
talked
tips.
I talked with a few people who are from here, from the United States, and all of them have different rules for them. For example, one person told me, I'm going to pay tips only if I stay there, if I will eat my food in there. Only in that case. Another one told me, no,
there are a lot of different local staples in the area of certain food items, whether that's like Nisu French toast, panakaku, pasties is our big one. So is there any local food options that you tried when you got here that maybe at first you didn't like, but now it's part of the culture, it's part of your home here that, or have you always been a fan of something that you've tried that's a local item?
Yeah, I like Ambassadors a lot. I love their pizzas. I think I like almost all the food recipes I have tried there. I love that place. And recently, a friend of mine took me to the tea house in downtown, and it was my first time there. And I was like, "Where have been for almost 2 years? This place is awesome!"
Yeah.
And I love the tea they offered, and also all the food items
Yeah.
they offered.
And
It was so good.
Yeah, and another spoiler alert, because I did that last episode too for this one. But we will be talking about in hopefully the next episode some options like that you could visit. That because like the tea room as well. Like I've lived
was
here my
so
whole life,
great.
and I went there this May for a bridal shower, and that's the first time I was there. And now I'm like, let's go to the tea room. But yeah, definitely. Is there anything else that people have tried from the area?
I'd say lasagna.
Oh yeah,
That was good.
yes, for sure. Where did you get it from?
The ambassador. Funniest story about lasagna is they have beef in lasagna. I'm a Hindu. I don't eat beef.
Oh,
I
I
had-
tried their lasagna. It was
I
good.
had I had no idea their lasagna had beef in it. That was a shock.
You're like, well, maybe I shouldn't.
No,
But it was good, right? I tried it.
I
It
came
was
to
good.
know I came to know that they had beef in the lasagna after I finished it.
no.
So yeah, I guess like one thing that I would say that I was not a big fan of, but then it slowly grew over me was the fresh baked breads. I'm not a big bread fan. I have probably would go for like the seeds bread or something like little bit healthy option. But now in every of my Walmart order or like any grocery order, I am looking for one of those like fresh baked bread or like artisanal bread if I could find one. And now either we do it bake it on slices, or we just like have it like like tear the bread and eat with like wine or like a dip. That's something like my friend taught me how to do it. Like they would dig a hole in the giant loaf of bread and then just bite out of. So that's something that grew over me over time. I hate bread, but now I order it every time, every other week.
Understandable. Yeah. And I mean, I know that Abhijit loves his French fries,
the
as he
French
said in his
fries.
introduction. But out of everyone else, we know maybe his is something other than French fries. But what is your favorite food item that you've had in the United States? That doesn't even necessarily, I guess, need to be here. I mean, I know you mentioned Ambassador. Maybe it's their pizzas. But what's something that you might not necessarily eat very often at home that you really liked here?
For me, it would be wraps from Jimmy John's.
Okay.
Those are good.
Yeah.
2 a.m. in the night.
One of
and
the
Jimmy
only
John's
places
is
open at that time.
That's the
as we
only
talked
place
about.
open.
Yep.
And I'm hungry that time, so yes, Jimmy John's has amazing wraps that I've come to like.
During my first few months, I probably said mac and cheese, but now this it'll be Ambassador's Pizza.
Okay.
Yeah.
I also love the Ambassador's Pizza and also like various types of burritos I have tried here.
Oh yeah.
And actually, like our country also has all sort of the Burger Kings, McDonald's, Taco Bell. So I sort of have tried, but I think there is a difference in the taste. But I don't know how to explain that. Even in KFC, I feel like there is a difference in the taste.
Yeah.
But I don't know how to express that.
Right. Exactly.
How to like how
it's
to
just different.
yeah. It's just different.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess like for the food part, so I am a big foodie. Wherever I go, my itinerary is almost like dependent on every night I would try a different cuisine. I would not eat whole day or like survive on like protein bars or something like that because I save all the money for the fancy dinner at night, and then I would try every week. So I guess like in United States that I have not eaten anywhere is probably like the bison meat that I tried in Denver, like the ribs for bison. That was the unique one. And then in Puerto Rico, I tried the Yucatan fries.
Oh, okay.
I don't know what it's called. Like it's a yam or something. Like it's a potato family stuff, but it's not potato. So that was the unique thing. But my comfort food is, it's just a guilty pleasure food. I eat it every time I'm traveling through Chicago airport because you have to. There's only one flight from here to Chicago. It's like those McNuggets.
Oh yeah.
I'm not proud of what I'm saying, but yeah.
That's understandable.
Just yesterday, I'm sorry, not yesterday, day before yesterday, on Tuesday, I had omelet from Sumi's for the first time.
Oh.
Best I have ever had.
Yeah.
The best. And they let you build your own. Like I put extra mushrooms, put some chicken in it, some cheese, with toast and bread. Sorry, it's same thing. Toast with butter. That it's just so amazing.
Yeah. No beef though, right?
No beef.
Okay, good. I'm glad you learned from the other experience. But pasties too. That's what comes to mind when I think of local food staples. So has anyone had a pasty here?
I just had the pasty. Yes, like 2 hours ago because I have a controversial opinion on it. I do not like pasties. I think they are bland. They do not have the texture or the flavor required for it. And I had it. I have been here almost 8 years, and this was my second pasty in life. And I only had it because my advisor got it for us. So
Right.
just not to disrespect her, but sure, I would eat a pasty.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I'm from here. And so when I say I don't really like pasties, I'm like, am I a terrible Uber? Like, do I even belong here? But I agree. Like, it's really bland. And so a lot of people, they'll put like ketchup and stuff on it. But I don't really like ketchup either. So I'm like, I'm eating two things I don't really like. But I did have one last summer, I think, with gravy on it. And that was really, really good. So if you do try a pasty, definitely try gravy as well.
So which one? I know there's Roy's pasty, which is famous, or then there is Amy J's.
Yeah, normally I have Amy J's. I have had some on campus as well. They was like part of catering for something. I don't know where those were from though, but yeah, I hear good things about both of them, but I think it's just a personal preference for me.
Also, another controversial opinion. Do you all think? I think like Sumi's is overrated.
No, it's
I think
not.
people would not like me very much,
It's not.
but I think Sumi's is overrated. I know there was another breakfast place, Khalifa, that closed down, but something new opened in its place. I haven't been there yet.
Uncles?
Yeah, Uncles. Yeah.
Uncles, right?
But yeah,
I've not been there either.
I haven't
Yeah.
been there yet. Yeah.
there was always like a tussle on like we used to go for Sunday brunches. It was Victoria's versus Sumi's versus Khalifa. And I was more like wherever you can get seat
Yeah.
earlier, you go there, but
Yeah.
never liked Sumi's that much.
For sure. Yeah.
I absolutely loved Sumi's because, well, it was my first time at Sumi's. I also did not sit there because there was no space, but I got takeout, so it turned out great.
Yeah.
Best decision I've ever made in having lunch.
I've were there with my friends from United States, and she ordered for me, and I like that a
Yeah.
lot. But
Yeah.
I asked her like, order me everything you. Yeah, I need to try.
You
And
gotta
she did
ask
that.
for the locals'
Yeah.
favorites so they get you the good stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so shifting gears a little bit with our conversation, a big thing that our students experience when they come here is the weather. And so this is probably a big topic, and obviously I'm from here, so I can't really give much input for that because I've always dealt with the snow. But I guess Natalia, if you want to start us off with this one, what is Houghton weather like, and how do you get through the days and the nights? What do you do to stay busy, and just everything weather related in the area?
Yeah, sure. And I think I'll be the only one here who wouldn't complain about weather because I'm from Siberia. And every time when professors told us, guys, you'll be fine, don't worry about winter, you just need to wear some clothes and everything, I was like, guys, I can teach you how handle real weather, real cold, because in my area we usually have -40, which is fine. Yeah. That's why I'm not complaining about weather.
Yes.
Yeah, my opinion is totally different. So, like Natalia and like me, we both came at the same time in fall 2023. So, ever since I set foot in Houghton, everybody has been telling me, you need to get ready for the winter. You need to buy, even at IPS, even in the graduate school, wherever I go, even in the bank, where I went for the first time. And they were like, did you buy good clothes for the winter? You need to be ready for the winter. I was like, then I bought everything I could think of. I bought boots, coats, and hats, everything. And I was very prepared. I was very prepared for the winter. But yeah, that winter was not that bad though, like right last year. But this winter shocked me totally.
Yes, for sure.
It caught me like off the guard.
Right.
I was totally shocked.
Yeah, exactly.
And usually when we talked about weather with Varuni, I complain about summer, she complains about winter.
Yeah.
We are like totally opposite. I love summer here.
Yeah. So at some point of the year, one of you guys is like, I'm miserable. What about you guys?
In terms of weather, there is another culture shock that still is a shock to me, is the temperature units. So I come from a country which, like all the other countries except USA, follows degree Celsius for their temperatures, and this is the only country in the world that uses Fahrenheit. So the perception of how hot or how cold something is very different. And it still affects all the conversations I would have with anyone. For example, I would say today's temperature is, say, 21 degrees Celsius, and so it's pretty hot. And then again, just like Natalia, I come from exactly opposite countries. So cold is difficult for us, but heat, we can handle our heat. Because just now in New Delhi, temperature was around 45 degrees Celsius.
Oh my gosh.
So I can teach you guys how to handle heat.
Yeah. You're an expert.
But I can relate with Ayush with the units, not only temperature. I also have problem with measuring in like kilograms and pounds. I cannot sense when someone says it is in pounds.
Yeah.
I don't feel it.
Right.
I cannot feel that, like, what is that number?
Yeah, right.
It is so weird.
About numbers, funny story, when I first time was in the hospital and they measure my weight and the number was 100 something. I'm just like, wait a minute, 100 kilograms? Stop. No, please.
I was the complete opposite during my conference because I ended up injuring my foot. So I was in the ER, and their scale was in kilos.
Kilogram.
And so like they weighed me and like it came up and I was like, what? I'm like, I don't feel like I've lost this much weight. And then I converted and I was like, oh, okay, yeah.
I just, every time I have a conversation, I have two tabs open in my brain. One is for weight and one is for temperature.
Right.
So I have that conversion going on all the time.
Exactly.
I just use my separate app in the phone and I'm just like, let me a second, I need to translate that.
I always translate.
Exactly.
On the same, since we are on the units point, there's a funny thing happened. I guess like it would be a lot of like, again, a part of culture shock. The first time you go out to shop for groceries, and if you are not from the same system like imperial system as US follows, your mind is like everything is in ounces, fluidic ounces, and then the prices are in dollars, and you recently stepped foot in US, so you do not have a lot of like US dollars in you, so you start, your brain starts calculating in your units. For example, I was doing ounces to kilogram conversion, and then kilogram, and then US dollars to INR conversion. So a lot of maths just to buy like a bag of chips.
Yeah.
Yeah, you shouldn't think about that in your money units. Yeah.
For sure.
But then I found a trick. The red numbers on the tags normally tells like on the standard prices, like per ounce or per something. So you just compare one of
easy.
that. So how would you choose, for example, if you want to buy a cooking oil, company A or company B? This is your first time in United States. How do you choose?
Oh my gosh, all of my first thing I bought was so bad because I'm just like, I just need something. I grab something and then I changed that.
Yeah, exactly. And routing back to weather as well, we talk about how cold it is here, how much snow we get. So what are some tips for those of you that came from hotter climates? Like, how do you get through the winters? Like, you already talked, Maruni, a lot about, the stuff you wear and things like that, but what are some other things you do to make the winter seem a little bit quicker?
So I always try to drink something hot as soon as I got like home from school or maybe like somewhere from outside. And yeah, either coffee or sometimes I have like some medicinal teas that I keep with me. So I think that helps a lot in like, because I think when the temperature is too cold, it is very important to maintain the body temperature, like to internal heat. So that helps a lot for me.
Yeah.
I would say for people who are going to come here is that get used to the winter, right? Go out, do some activities, go cross-country skiing, go snowboarding, have a cold plunge in the lake. It'll get you up there. It'll make you used to the cold, and it's basically what I've been doing. And right now, even when it's like 20 degrees Celsius, it's too hot for me now.
Yeah.
Even though I come from a place where the temperature goes up to 40 degrees Celsius.
Yeah.
20 is too hot for me now.
Yeah, I guess like the first thing I used to mention a lot of like the young ones who are coming in for their master the first time traveling outside, say India or the Indian subcontinent, was do not buy winter clothes in India. They do not work. So you have like a limited space to bring when you are traveling internationally, and filling half your suitcase with just one snow jacket, which is very expensive anyways in India, does not make sense. Come here, try the cheap ones or the second-hand ones. There are a lot of resources on campus that can give you good options. So do not fill your suitcases with like snow boots or stuff, which would be very expensive in those countries where it does not snow. They do not know. Here it would be relatively cheap. Other thing I would recommend is, depending on where you are living, university housing or outside, invest in a good humidifier. So since all of the windows are closed for like 6 months period, the thing that happens is it is centrally heated. You are continuously in artificial heat for 6 months. It is so dry. Like I still remember the first winters me and my roommates faced. Our noses would have like frozen blood stuck in there because we are inhaling such a dry. And then we bought like a humidifier, and it's been like 8 years I have been using humidifier.
Yeah.
So that's a good investment.
Yeah, for physical health too, especially. And I know a lot of our students, including myself, and I've been here my whole life, like I said, vitamin D is another important factor, especially in the winter, just because we don't get as much sunlight and it is very cold. So yeah, like the coffees, the teas, the humidifiers and everything like that. Yeah, it's definitely something to look into, and especially tying it back to culture shock. You could get into a situation where you aren't feeling the best mentally. You're feeling, it's kind of like this slope, right? At first you're here, you're excited, everything is new, but then you start missing home and you start, feeling isolated. And so in terms of that and how moving here and specifically to Michigan Tech, how did that affect you guys mentally? And I guess how did you overcome it, and how did you kind of get back to that peak of starting to enjoy the area again?
Coming here affected me, had a huge emotional impact on me than I expected. I did expect some differences when I was coming here, but yeah, it was like huge. It was a huge impact than I expected. So initially when during the first few months I felt isolated, as Jamie mentioned, and I was like, even in like group gathering like this, I was observing than like participating or talking. I was an observer. But as the time went by, I tried to join like social events or organizations, and I tried to involve myself more in like activities. And also I had to say that the professors and everyone in our department and in school were really kind to me, and like that actually helped sort of overcome this like impact. And yeah, it took me a while to get adjusted here, but yeah, now I love it here.
Yeah, I want to share my thoughts about that because when I moved here, yeah, first few, like, maybe not month, but weeks or maybe 1 month, I was by myself. But then when we started to participate to classes and everything, I met my friends and we are still friends. We are like spending time together. And my big advice for all new international students, please join to a lot of different social events. I know you wouldn't have time because you will have a lot of classes, a lot of stuff to do, a lot of homeworks and everything. But please go and join to all of these social events and interact with people, because it's so important to stay connected with someone.
There's also motivation to join these social events because there's always free food. You need to keep that in mind.
Exactly. There you go.
Yeah.
Can't go wrong with that.
Yeah, I'd say go out, meet new people. I used to be an introvert. Look at me now.
That's hard to believe, actually. Knowing you now, I'm like, checking in, you probably were a little bit more quiet. But yeah, it definitely,
Exactly.
yeah.
So yeah, just going out to places like the DT or just any places, right? Join different clubs. There are like hundreds of clubs at MTU.
Yeah.
There's sailing, there's 4x4s, there's cross-country skiing, snowboarding, like just different clubs all over.
Yeah.
So you meet people, you learn more about the local culture here in that way, and it helps you be more integrated into this town.
Yeah, I guess like I was like you when I was in my first 2 years. So I'm exactly opposite. I was an extrovert, which turned into introvert lately. And my first 2 years were exactly like yours. Explore everything. Literally, I have been a part of almost, I would say, 50 clubs at this point. Like I have attended so many K days, signed up for every event. Free food. That's what we did for the first semester. I even went to one of the club's general board meeting and voted for their president because they were just to get the food. I didn't know there was like voting happening, and then we voted. So yes, free food is a motivator when you first arrive.
I don't know who I'm voting for, but whoever brings me the food, I'm there.
Yeah, they had tacos.
Well, there you go.
So
If there were fries, I would be there.
Yes, note to self.
on the terms of like mental health part, so the first semester, like the fall, there are like multiple things happening. A lot of international students are graduate school students, so either they are coming for their masters or their PhD. That's again like a huge commitment. You have already been into college. Some of them are coming after they are working, so they had like a good salaries. They just quit and then came back to student life, so their mental health or like state is already different. Homesickness is a big thing. Some of them I have known have never been outside the country or lived alone. So all of this happening, and then this like huge upset of longer days, like 10 p.m. sunlight, and then suddenly within a month, like November hits or like late October, you are having snowfall. Like my first year in 2017, it started snowing around 15th October. So that was like instantly from spring, 10 p.m. long days to a snowfall. So I didn't even get time to acclimatize. So everything is happening so fast. So it can get like a lot of friends would say imposter syndrome is pretty common. And I don't know, financial burdens, educational burdens, style of education is changed. So So you have to be, I would recommend, find an anchor point. Friends are a great anchor point. Organizations are great. The faster you make friends, because they are the ones you will interact them most. Like you cannot call your home, because also like a time shift, like if you are coming from India or like that region, daytime is nighttime, nighttime is daytime, so it's like
The same.
almost. So you cannot call home if you are stressed after a class. Your parents are sleeping or something, or your friends are not sleeping, so you lose contact with your home friends because of the time difference. So yeah, find a friend.
Yeah,
So find your anchor point.
for sure. Yeah. That's
Yeah.
definitely.
I like that university provide a lot of sources for us, like mental health and well-being,
Yeah.
and where we can stop by to talk with in group of people or with a therapist. That's really helpful in some point of time.
Yeah, it's definitely good to use your resources. There's plenty out there. Find your place, whether that's in African Student Organization or the Film Board or whatever it may be. Definitely finding your place. But yeah, and then this section I'm going to enjoy very much, and I hope others do, because we talked about it a little bit when we were having our initial meeting. But to kind of move into our close and make this portion a little bit funny and fun, when you came over to the United States and specifically Houghton, what are some things that, like, again, kind of communication, that there may have been cultural barriers or, different phrases of saying things? Like, what are some misinterpretations or misunderstandings that you guys had when you were here?
Yeah, I have two stories. The first one was, oh my gosh, the worst one, because that was in front of whole class for like 6 months or something. You all guys know number pi, and everything is fine with this number. All people around the world knows this one. But in my country, we pronounce it like number P. And I did that for 6 months in front of professors, in front of my class. That was terrible. No one tell me I did that wrong.
And that went on for 6 months.
Yes, yes.
With how nice people are here, you would have thought they would have told you at least.
Yeah.
No, it's like nobody cared, I guess.
And you're just like, she's not from here, just let her be.
That's fine. Yeah. And the second story was with my friend, because we wanted to go to eat. And I told them, yeah, guys, I would like to eat boogers. And I didn't even know what does it mean before I told that instead of burger.
So my story is about like in my first semester, after a class, I had some like clarifications I need to discuss with the professor. So I sent an email asking that I have some doubts. Can we discuss this in your like office hours or something like that? And yeah, he replied yes. And then we met during the office hours, and then he mentioned that the word doubt is used here. It sort of has like a negative impact. It means like in my country we use that word a lot to like talk with our professors about questions and everything. But here it sort of give like a feeling that I sort of have like suspensions about the professors like teachings or something like that. So it was very weird. I was like, I'm so sorry, I did not mean that. I did not mean that. And actually he was very nice. He understood that I'm coming from a different like country. I came like maybe like 2 months ago.
Right.
During that time, yeah.
At least he told you. Yeah.
Yeah, he does.
It is true.
I don't think I've had like one of those with me before. I mean, after coming here, it's just because when I used to work, I used to work with a lot of American customers, so I'm kind of used to how they speak and know the culture a little bit. So I know what they're expecting me to say, I guess. So yeah, I've never had one of those with me.
Okay.
You're a lucky person.
Fun phrases that I learned here that I had no idea how to use properly. Like the ones which is most popular is like when we say we used to call I passed out from class 12 or class 10. That was a very, very popular phrase, but it should be graduated, because in India we use graduation for bachelor's or like degree courses. So high school and schools are not. And yeah, and then I guess like there is a funny one. I guess like a lot of people say, like, do you know like what "let it rip" mean? Let one out or let one rip. So I did not know that. I only saw the like anime. They called like "Let It Rip" because like a Beyblade was a show, but this one I did not know what was the meaning of
Right.
it. So it's quite a funny thing. I'm like, shit.
Yeah, I have one too, actually, and obviously I'm not the one moving here, but for the people that are moving here, like our international students, I know my name Jamie is a masculine and feminine name here in the United States, but in some countries it's only a male's name, and so I've had so many people prior to arriving email me saying, "Hello, sir," and like once I respond, they probably see it with my pronouns and my signature and my picture, but it's just kind of funny that people check in and you can tell. They're like, "You're Jamie?" And I'm like, "Yep, yep."
Yeah, I have two friends named Jordan. One is a guy and one is a girl.
Yeah, exactly. It's
Oh,
very
wow.
common here.
And I also had many people pronouncing my second name in weird ways. But that's fine. That's
Yeah.
fine because like we use the like English letters and vowels. We sort of like relate it to our own alphabetic alphabet. That's why we have different spellings and stuff. So that's fine. But I've had really weird pronunciation for my own name.
Yeah, the same. And every time when people pronounce my last name, never like I don't even care how that was. I all the time be like, "You are doing great. That was perfect."
See, so just like your example, that's why they didn't tell you. They were just cheering you on.
So on terms of like difficult names and pronunciations, have you ever faced like have you somebody pointed out your accent? Like I know there is this. I used to work for like IT, and I used to have to call a lot of like vendors to place orders. And so one thing everybody is confused is when I pronounce D and when I pronounce T. So I have to do like, you know, D means Delta, T means Tango, or like D means dog, T for telephone. Nobody can understand.
that a lot.
You said both of those, and I'm like, what's the difference?
Oh, it's C? For the audience, it's D as in dog, T as in telephone. I'm like,
But yeah, it's hard.
I was like, yeah, like you said, I was like, he's saying the same word.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, and then I know, Abhijit, did you have some other points to talk about as well with different culture shock in the local area? And
Yeah, so one of the things that I love how people do most of the work on their own, like fixing their houses, fixing their cars,
Yeah.
right? My roommate bought a car. We had to change brake pads. Usually in my country, we would just take it to a service center, right? Here, we got the brake pads from, I don't know, Riley's. The place I work at part-time at transportation, my manager helped us give access to a garage. We went there. I changed the brake pads myself. So and it's a culture shock, but it's also
A good thing.
a good
Definitely.
one.
Yeah,
you know,
for sure.
it's like, wow, why can I not do this back home?
Yeah.
I would like to do that.
Yeah.
Well, but me personally, I love cars and working on cars, and I've never had the opportunity to like open my engine up.
I think-
That I can do here.
Definitely. Yeah, and I think you make a good point too with all these culture shocks. It's like you are going to experience something to some extent, but it's trying to find the positives and like using your resources or finding who you are in the United States and in home, and that's very important. So I guess moving into that and moving into our closing, hopefully we have some of our new fall 2025 arrivals listening once this is posted. So for this incoming class, what are the main takeaways? What is your big piece of advice that you would give to these students who are making their journeys to here for the first time?
So my first advice is, the same advice I received when I first came here: buy good winter clothes. So winters here are sharp and they would last for like 5 to 6 months. So you need good winter clothes. And as Ayush mentioned, it is better to buy them from here because you can buy like quality winter clothes from here. And also we have like thrift shops, and maybe there are like many options, cheap options that we can find here.
Right.
So yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the first thing. And also the other part I have to say is like, yeah, I was afraid, I was scared when I was coming here, but it has been also challenging the last 2 years, but I think it helped me grow as a person and in like academically and also like as a person. So I think it was a transformative experience for me.
Sure.
Yeah, and mind-wise, I'm pretty sure it wouldn't easy to move from one country to another, to change whole your life. And to make it a little bit easy, I would say you should go, you should make friends, talk with different people, to join to some social events, to be with people, to be involved in all of this social life. And it'll be easy to live here with friends
For sure.
after that.
I'd say it's more regarding the transportation. It's one of the biggest things for people like coming from India, where there's no what do you say?
Public transport.
No, India has public transport,
Yeah, like-
but like we don't have to worry about
Yeah.
how do I go back home
Right.
in India, right?
Yeah.
But this is something you have to plan out before you come here. If you want to go to Walmart, I have to think 2 to 3 hours ahead. Like how am I going to get home? How am I going to
Yeah.
get all of this stuff home? Because there's barely any cabs also around here, so that is also a challenge. But the transportation services at MTU, they provide you with the shuttle, which has been a great help. And I don't think anywhere else in town they have transport like this. I mean, different universities do, but that has been a great help. Plus, public safety will help you out if you are in any problem. If you're stuck somewhere, they're always a phone call away. They'll help you. So, yeah, even though all these resources are available to you, I'd say
The other part I would tell the ones who are coming in is like, so the first month would be the hardest, and the first semester is going to be the hardest for you to acclimatize to different temperatures, class loads, different style of living and everything. So a lot of things would be happening at the same time. But this is the time to take it as like a you should leave your comfort zones. I know, for example, like in India, you can get house help for everything, or like to get your like car corrected, you wouldn't take it to the shop because it's so cheap. Here, like even a small task, you have like doing dishes every night is a chore. And then it gets frustrating after some time, preparing meals for you and then cleaning the dishes and then cleaning houses week by week, day by day, at the time when you are already sad, homesick, burden of assignments and all things. These things pile on very quickly. So break your comfort zone, make friends which are not from your region or not from your country was good for me. I need to get to learn a lot more about different cultures, try different foods and all that stuff. Your first friend could be from your own country, but your second friend should not be from your own country.
That's the rule
Because-
for you.
Yeah, that would help you break the monotonicity, or like you learn something more about it. You can make friends from your own region very easily, but you have to put in an effort. But yeah, I guess like that's pretty much it. And then after the January, everything, the spring break is the best one. That's when the new friendships have been formed. That's when you can plan the conventional US road trips to go to like Carolinas, Floridas, Californias, Niagara Falls and all that stuff. Please do that.
me and my roommate did a 2,500 mile road trip in the spring break.
Wow.
Yep.
That is very popular
That's-
too among our international students.
Yeah, that's the first time international students would be doing their first trips. Some do
Yeah.
that from Christmas break,
Yeah.
but they normally have some friends or family in different cities.
Yeah.
But if you know nobody in US, you're making new friends, spring break is the best time. Good time to explore United States. So yeah, just beer through the first 4 months, and then everything would be good.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, no, that was all great advice. And I'd like to thank all of you lovely students for joining us and providing your insights of what it was like to be here. And of course, once again, we have our MC producer, Farida, here again. Hopefully we'll hear from her in future episodes. But yeah, thank you for listening. We hope that this conversation was helpful for some of you, especially those that are incoming. If you have questions, feel free to reach out to us, and we are here to support you, and we hope that we can be your home away from home if you do have that culture shock experience. But be sure to tune in to our next episode, and we will chat with you later.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.